Welcome back to Biblical Greek Tidbits. In this video, we look at two New Testament Greek words that under some contexts could be considered synonyms, but as used in the Greek New Testament are to be clearly distinguished. I highly recommend that the viewer read Trench's discussion of these words in his Synonyms of the New Testament, which I give as reference 1 below. I have borrowed freely from this and other sources and make no claim of originality in anything said here. The references used for this presentation are 1. Synonyms of the New Testament by Richard C. Trench, 2. A Greek-English Lexicon of the New Testament and Other Early Christian Literature, editors Bauer, Donker, Arndt, and Gingrich. 3. Word Biblical Commentary on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John by Stephen S. Smalley. 4. Word Biblical Commentary on Matthew chapters 14 through 28 by Donald A. Hagner. 5. Commentary on Mark by Henry Barclay Sweet. 6. Accordance Bible Software version 11.1.6. Before we look at the Greek words antichristos, meaning antichrist, and pseudochrist, meaning false Christ, we first observe that the Greek word Christos has two meanings in the New Testament. We find the following in a Greek-English lexicon of the New Testament, reference 2 above. Definition 1, fulfiller of Israelite expectation of a deliverer, the anointed one, the Messiah, the Christ. Definition 2, the personal name ascribed to Jesus, that is Christ. We first look at the word antichristos, meaning antichrist. From reference 2 above, we see that the word antichristos means adversary of the Messiah. The word occurs only 5 times in the Greek New Testament. It occurs in 1 John 2, verse 18, 2 times. Also in 1 John 2, verse 22. In 1 John 4, verse 3. And 2 John, verse 7. Richard Trench, see reference 1 above, points out that although Paul does not use the word antichristos, he incorporates the same concept in his use of such terms as anthropos tis armatias, man of sin, eos tis apolios, son of perdition, and anamos, lawless one. Trench also points out that although the prefix "andi" in composition has the force of instead of as well as against, the context of John's usage of the word calls for the meaning against. We will look at the Greek text for just one of the 5 occurrences of the word antichristos. 1 John 2:22. Tis estin a pseustis imi a arnumenos a ti Isus uk estin a Christos, utos estin a antichristos a arnumenos tan patera ke tan ion. Translation: Who is the liar but he that denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, he who denies the Father and the Son. Here, John, in a sense, defines the prototypical liar, the one who denies that Jesus is the foretold anointed one. Such a person is the Antichrist and, in principle, denies both the Father and the Son. We next look at the word pseudochrist, meaning false Christ. From reference 2 above, we see that the word pseudochrist means one who, in lying fashion, gives himself out to be the anointed one, a bogus Messiah. The word occurs twice in the Greek New Testament, but are parallel passages. These are Matthew 24, verse 24, and Mark 13, verse 22. It is clear from the context that the pseudochrist sets himself up as though he were the anointed one. To quote Trench, see reference 1 above, the pseudochrist does not deny the being of a Christ. On the contrary, he builds on the world's expectations of such a person. Only he appropriates these to himself, blasphemously affirms that he is the foretold one in whom God's promises and men's expectations are fulfilled. Here's the Greek text for Matthew 24:24. Eierthesende gar pseudokristi ke pseudoprophete ke dosusin simia megala ke terata oste planise e dinaton ke tus eklektus. Translation: For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. So these false Christs and false prophets are imitations of the true Christ and true prophets. They will endeavor to authenticate their false roles by performing great signs and wonders. In Greek New Testament usage, most scholars distinguish the words antichristos and pseudokristos as follows. Antichristos is one who opposes Christ by denying that there is a Christ, whereas pseudokristos is one who, not denying that there is a Christ, would profanely stand in the place of Christ. This concludes this presentation. Thank you for watching, and as always, I defer to real scholars on all matters of biblical Greek.